Hey guys, welcome to Talking News, and it appears that we have a lot of news going on, and I decided to do this one. I don't usually do a lot on Chris Watts, but this one was interesting to me because it hasn't been talked about, and it's the fact that Chris Watts is thinking about appealing his case. Can you believe it? Do you believe it? And do you think that he should have that right? Now, this is the man that is in prison for slaying his entire family. And this happened in Colorado. And according to people, they supposedly have a source that is close to Watts. And they're giving them information that he is looking into ways to appeal his punishment. And he has been researching his case and other similar cases. This is something I thought about once the detectives come back and they did that interview with Chris Watts, because they're pretending to be on his side like they're friends. And I was afraid that this might send a message to him that possibly maybe he's not that bad of a guy. I sense that this would send him a horrible message that, people want to be friends with him because they like him. And because, he's not that bad of a guy, really. Just because his family's gone and it's because of him. This guy, after seeing his entire story, you see that he is easily led to believe whatever is around him at the time. So whoever he's around, he's going to believe that's who he is and how he should act. He is a big-time follower. You had all these people, Dr. Phil, you had the detectives, the FBI agents, all coming back at him saying, hey, it's nice to see you. We missed you, basically, and we're here to hear your side of the story because it matters. And this, to somebody that's like Chris Watts, it's going to send a terrible message. It's going to make him believe that maybe he's the victim instead of, the opposite way around. But we're not sure if this is accurate information. This is something that just happened just a few hours ago. I had to finish a few other stories before I could get to this one. But, I really don't see him being able to appeal. But then again, if you have paid attention to Gypsy, everybody's familiar with that story. She is also playing a victim. That one's a little bit more confusing because she was a victim in some way. But overall, she did murder her mother, and she's got a petition going right now trying to get people to sign it so that she can get out of jail earlier. So prison people that are behind bars are reaching out to the public for assistance to get out of the cage. And what I want to know is, how in the world are these people communicating with other people? I mean, this is something you're supposed to be punished. You're not supposed to have recess. You're not supposed to have social time or internet. So I have to do some research on this because I'm curious. How is Chris Watts researching other stories? Is he having somebody do it for him? What's going on there? So a lot of your questions, I'm sure, is going to be, can he do this? He pleaded guilty. And according to a source who has acknowledged of Watts' legal case, and with the guilty plea, she says you forfeit some of your rights to appeal. But that's not absolute. So there's a small chance that it could work in his favor. Now that's a scary scenario. I can tell you right now, if for some reason he was able to appeal this, it's going to be a world record of publicity and people standing up I'm thinking against him, but I do believe there's going to be people that actually going to stand for him. There always is somebody that's going to stand on another side that, you have to question why. The Chris Watts story is one of the biggest stories in the history of media. It really is. I think it's outdone Ted Bundy, all those big cases. And actually, I'm going to have to be honest, the Chris Watts case is what got me so interested in the missing persons, because it devastated me to think he looked normal, seems like a great dad. Why? That's what everybody's wondering. Why? Why did he do this? It doesn't make sense. So I'm wondering, I'm like, we haven't heard anything about this anywhere. I mean, nothing. So, but it was an idea that it could happen. I mean, the case went so quickly. He really didn't even have time to process it. And I often wondered if that would work to his benefit. The fact that they rushed it so much, and he was mentally exhausted, and it just seemed like they just rushed it far too fast without their proper, just making sure everything was tied up tight. So will he have the money, and will his attorneys accept something like this? Now, something you haven't heard on the news is I believe that there are people sending him money. And there's enough people in this world, if he has enough fans, is what I call them, that are that he's probably getting quite a bit of money. But if you've seen, and I can't remember offhand, but I can tell you right now, he doesn't get much of it. He would have to have a whole lot of money come to him, because the jail takes most of it. I think I have to look that up for you, but they don't get very much at all. So when they work in a jail, they get a job. You can bet that they're lucky if they made, a couple of cents a day. So the number one thing is, can Chris Watts afford to pay for this appeal? Because that's going to cost a lot of money. I haven't had time to research it. I might do another video with more details later. But it's going to be expensive, and he has nothing. He has no money. We already know that the family has been in debt not only once, but they were in major debt at the time this tragedy happened. But I have to say, I really do believe the investigators going and making that visit where they did the interview with Chris Watts probably planted a lot of seeds, and it might have even gained him a few more fans, if you can believe that. And we heard that there was a petition out where they wanted to take the pictures he had in his cell of his family away from him. There are a lot of people that believe that he does not deserve to have that in his jail cell, and they consider it as he's keeping that picture of his family as a trophy. Things that serial killers do after they hurt somebody or take somebody's life. So for the little bit of time I had to research this case, he really doesn't even have an attorney that would accept this case. So this is just something that he's thinking about doing. He's researching, and will it happen? Well, we can only wait and see. But I would like to know what you guys think. Now, I am scared of some of the Chris Watts, the people that are interested in the Chris Watts story, because they can get kind of aggressive. And I'm going to say right now, if you are an aggressive person and you cannot accept other people's ideas or whatever they say, move on. Do not watch this video. Do not stick around here. We don't want you here. The end. I will not tolerate anybody that has rage or disrespectful to other people. This is something we discuss as human beings, and we respect that everybody does have a different view. That being said, I do want to say I am curious to read what you think, no matter what it is. Even if you do not agree with me, I still like to see what you think. I mean, do you think this is something he deserves? Do you think that maybe this will happen? Let's just say that probably we'll find out pretty soon. After all, media's giving them free publicity, advertising for money, including myself. That's why I'm debating whether to load this or not. Media is the communication and the key to the outside world when people are locked up behind bars. I think one thing that everybody does agree on is the loss of the two little girls and the mom was a tragedy, and it's very sad. And I am sending prayers out to the family because that is not easy. And it's not easy for either side of the families involved. So that's all I have on this for right now. I've had quite a day of making videos today, and most of them, oh my gosh, it takes a lot of time. But I appreciate you guys. I want to say thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.